Hello and welcome to Zak's Traders Cafe. Today I'm joined by Ippolito Cattaneo, who's CEO at Ajax Resources. How today, Ippolito?
Hello, Zach. Very nice to see you.
Right, I've been following the story of Ajax for a number of years. I've grown old myself, but you remain young. The process was quite long in terms of a mining SPAC finding a mining deal, but presumably it was worth the wait.
It has most definitely been worth the wait. We've during the 3 years that we've been listed as a shell since April 22, we've been reviewing a great number, a score of opportunities across various continents. And we've now finally come across a deal that we believe is exactly what we've always been looking for since we created the company, in the form of the Eureka Project, which is a gold and copper project located in Argentina, a jurisdiction that we like very much. As you will know, there's been a new government in place for over a year now. It's an advanced project which has a very significant, potentially very significant amount of gold and specifically copper. And so we're very excited. Completion has been today. And we're greatly looking forward to taking this project forward and developing it by way of drilling activity.
Sorry, it seems that the stars have aligned as far as Argentina and your project and the underlying commodity prices. It's like everything has happened at the same time. Is that your view?
That is correct. So if we look at the project specifically, there are non-JORC compliant. There's a non-JORC compliant resource report on this project, and the amount that has been assessed is 62 million tons of copper at 1%. So that's 620,000 tons of copper, and an associated gold credits for in the amount of 52,000 ounces. So those numbers are very significant. That gold, 52,000 ounces of gold is roughly $150 million of gold, and we're looking at potentially 5 billion plus dollars worth of copper. That is, I underline, non-JORC compliance. So our first objective will be to drill the project, and that will result in that will culminate in the publication of a mineral resource estimate in compliance with JORC, which will enable us to go back to the market and say, we bought this project. We bought the project for $170,000, and that is the cash consideration that we paid for to acquire Bezant Resources PLC's subsidiary in Argentina, which is called Puna Metals, and that company in turn holds the mining rights for the Eureka project, which is comprised of 11 licenses. So we have a lot of work to do. It's worth remembering, for the sake of historical record, that Eureka was acquired by Bezant for initially just under $4 million in 2010, paid in cash, and then there was a schedule of payments, and that was accelerated. And so in 2012, Bezant announced that they'd agreed to pay for Eureka in the amount of $2.6 million. So that was what Bezant paid for it. Then Bezant underwent some management changes, board changes. That Argentina during the period wasn't perhaps the most attractive jurisdiction. It was prior to Milei's government entering office. And so then COVID happened. There were many reasons, but the long story short is that Bezant never developed this project and focused on other areas of their portfolio. And we have acquired this project for less than 10% of what Bezant paid for it in 2010. And we now have a project which, as you mentioned, in the gold and copper price environment we have, is potentially very significant. And so our first objective will be to during the next 12 months to come back to do all the work, and then come back to the market and say, look, this is what we acquired this project for $170,000, and this is what it's worth now. And we expect that to be many multiples of what we've paid. So that is a good bit of business that we've concluded. And as you will have seen, we've also announced that we've increased our land, the mining rights that we hold, because we've signed an option for an additional 2,500 hectares of land in the immediate vicinity to Eureka, which is a project, two licenses called Mina La Escondida 1 and Mina La Escondida 2. They are 100 meters, so they're contiguous to Eureka, so they share the exact same geology. And so what that means is that will enable Ajax to effectively increase its resource potential. So all those numbers that we cited, which are reliable numbers, they're simply non-JORC compliant. We hope to make JORC compliant so that we can officially present them in our company's valuation.
So with expanded footprint and better lay of the land as well, the benchmark level of what the previous owners of Eureka paid is probably the lowest you would expect the valuation or the ultimate valuation of Eureka to be, and it could actually be more than that.
Very hard to value an exploration project, albeit this is a highly advanced exploration project. But that the historical valuation does give comfort, but the real value is the resource in the ground. So our chief objective will be to transform those numbers into reality. Our company's strategy is to be a revenue generator. We don't want to be. We explicitly don't want to be the last in a long list of exploration companies. We want to be monetizing our resources as soon as possible. So that has been the strategy since we created the company, and we will look to go into production from Eureka as soon as we can. But the first step will be the MRE, because that will give us a very clear idea of the value of the project, and we will then be able to plan accordingly towards the next stage in the assets development, which will be production.
And just as far as shareholders of Ajax are concerned, what happens next? What's the detail there?
So as we've announced, we are leaving the standard section of the main market, and we are moving to Aquis, which we feel is a good market and will enable Ajax to really have the correct valuation as we deliver on the news, on the progress, and on the potential that Eureka has to offer. And so we will be listing on Aquis. Our share capital will be admitted to Aquis on the 9th of June. We're conducting a fundraise in conjunction with that admission, as we've announced. And we've been very frugal as a company. We raised 1.2 million pounds net in April 2022, and we, prior to paying for Eureka, we had about 800,000 pounds in the bank. So after 3 years of being a listed company, so we've been very parsimonious and frugal. We're in the business of making money, not saving money. But I think it's always important to be very effective in managing the company's financial resources, and that's what we've been. And so we want the money to go into the ground. We're not interested in fact, none of the board have been receiving a salary or any form of remuneration since listing. That's an undertaking we made when we listed, and we've kept that undertaking. And so we'll be doing a fundraiser, and that money will be going towards developing Eureka and doing the necessary work to get that MRE, which is objectively the greatest value creator we have in sight. So that's what we'll be doing, and we're very much looking forward to listing on Aquis and now being a mining company.
Ippolito Cattaneo, CEO at Ajax Resources. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Zach.